Hi, this is JW from JW's Wrestling Memorabilia Blog, and today we're looking at the classic, I'd certainly call it classic, Legends of Professional Wrestling figure line from Figures Toy Company, and specifically the Ivan Koloff Bloody Variant figure. We're going to be unboxing it today. These figures came out in the late 90s from Figures Toy Company, which had just changed its name not long before from Figures Inc. Figures Inc. was more of a... they dealt in more older items. I purchased the Hasbro green card set off of them before I ever saw them in stores. I did end up seeing them in stores, got some extras, but yeah, I initially ordered the green cards from them. I remember calling, and they had the initial 5 in the ad, in the catalog, and they informed me there was a new Crush and Yokozuna too. Had to have them as well. But these figures came along. It's not like today. Back then, it was unheard of that a figure line was coming from someone other than the big guys, your Jakks, your Toy Biz, your toy makers back then. How was Figures Toy Company going to be making figures? They were a mail order company. It's not like today where we have all these little boutiques coming out with sketches. They're like sketch companies. They post a sketch and they ask you to pre-order it, and then where the hell's the figure? Get these figures out, guys, and I won't bash you anymore. But they're not all like that. But regardless, this was quite a feat for someone, again, not to be one of the big companies, to be releasing a figure line. They started with King Kong Bundy and Abdullah the Butcher. He followed shortly after. Then Killer Kowalski, Ivan Putski, and in all, they did quite a few, and you can actually see them. The Ox Baker, Wahoo, McDaniel, and Eddie Gilbert are actually the only figures of those stars. And, I think might be seeing a Wahoo close coming soon down the line here. I don't want to say any more than that. I don't have any insider info. Maybe I do, but we'll see. Even Ivan Koloff, he's grossly underrated in the figure world, for the man who dethroned Bruno. He, of course, has the regular and bloody figure here, and then the classic superstars. And I think the facial likeness is actually a little better on this figure. And we'll look at that shortly. And as I said, there was a bloody and regular figure for both of these, except for Strongbow. Chief J Strongbow, he had black trunks and then design trunks. Initially, when they came out, I ordered both King Kong Bundys, both Abdullahs. You gotta have a bloody Abdullah. And then I kind of got out of the bloody ones a few years ago. I picked up the Strongbow variant, and then I went on to the bloody Tony Atlas, a friend of mine, the Maestro. I know you're watching. Hooked me up with that, and the bloody Chief Wahoo McDaniel. His wife, his widow, had it available. She had one left, and I got that from her. So I decided to go forth with the Ivan Koloff because the outfits are different for all of them as well. Like I said, there's no bloody Strongbow. He has 2 different outfits. All the other figures have 2 different outfits as well. The bloody one is different from the other one. For example, the regular Ivan is in the red. The bloody Ivan's in the black singlet, which is pretty cool. So we're going to look at that right now. We're going to pop it open. It's funny. Then initially, the Bundy, Abdullah, the first several series were carded. They had Bundy was on a card that was pretty dark in color, and then they went to the looked like a brick style, and then they just went to the boxes. Also, the ones in the boxes, the heads are removable, because they did come out with a build your own wrestler set that had a few generic heads, and also the heads of the later series. They did Ivan's head, Strongbow, Wahoo, Eddie Gilbert, and you could actually remove the heads. And then there were little clothes with them too, which I believe they actually still sell some of the clothes on their site. What's funny is, after the initial release and them selling them through the catalog, and then I guess they would have gotten the website a little bit around that time, the value dropped, the interest dropped. I remember at the NWA Fan Fest in November of 2004, these boxed ones, and probably some of the carded as well, but I remember these boxes just stacked on tables, and they were a couple bucks a piece, if that. And I remember Ivan was still signing at the time, and at the show, and I saw just a couple Ivans stacked up, and I actually just bought one and ran over, and he signed it. And he told me that at the time, he said he usually popped the box open and signed it in the inner lid, and I said, why don't you just sign it right on the center there on the logo? So I actually do have a boxed regular Ivan signed, and some of the carded ones as well. But yeah, it just makes me think, what was that, 19 years ago? They were dead in the water. Nobody was getting money for them. And since then, interest has really drummed up. I mean, like I said, I finally picked up some of the variants again, and I have a friend, Mike G. I know you're watching too. Shout out to you. He's been actively collecting them as well, and I know we're not alone. So let's take a look. We'll pop it open, and there's no seal on the box itself. It's just a tab that you pull. And Ivan told me he used to sign in there. I guess if you wanted to open and display the figure, but there he is. There's Uncle Ivan. And he is sealed. I think we'll take the trusty scissors to this one to make it easy. Smell the 90s air. Very vinyl, plastic smell. And there he is, smiling away. He kind of has a smile. And covered in blood. And I'm sure you remember him wearing the black outfit as much as the red, and the blood actually comes down his legs and around his boots there. Again, they didn't do too many variations as far as the poses. Billy Graham had the arms like this, Tony Atlas. And then the singlet look was used with Wahoo. Possibly some other ones. I'd have to look at the box. I don't really remember offhand, but and they just did a couple different bodies, a couple different arms, which is why they remind me of the Remcos. If you get a close-up on that head there, I don't know how well that's focusing, but the likeness is actually a lot better than the classic Superstars, which I do happen to have available. Yeah. Get in there, Ivan. I mean, it's a good figure. I'm glad they have it. I do have a 2-pack signed by he and Nikita, who he came with, but Jack's just sometimes made some questionable choices, and it's a younger Ivan for sure, but considering he's packed with Nikita, it should be older Ivan like this. But there you can see that the Figures Toy Company version is superior as far as the look, as far as the facial look. And then also I did bring along the original release, so you can see the non-bloody, and there's that face again. He is smiling. He does look happy. In fact, I think that's the picture that they used on the box too. Yeah, that's him. You can see him smiling there. And Uncle Ivan, he was a really nice guy. You know, I'd said that, yeah, he was at the NWA Fan Fest. He was at so many of those, and gosh, I can't even count the times I saw him. He came to some of the Pittsburgh wrestling reunion signings with Bruno when all those guys were still around. Of course, they're all gone. And he did all the NWA Fan Fest, most of them, in Charlotte. He may have done some of the other ones that ventured out, and I'm sure I saw him at some of the East Coast shows over the years. But he was always a pleasure to talk to. His wife was a great lady. I think she still may run his Twitter account. Renee Koloff, as she goes by. But he was a very nice man. I miss him. I miss seeing him around. That's the problem. You know, you can say what you want about, you know, oh, I wish I'd gotten this sign and that sign, but it's really, if you're a good person, you miss seeing them. as long as they were good people. There's some that are still around that I won't miss no longer seeing when they decide to no longer do shows. But that's another story for another time. But then the ones that are gone, it's like I just miss them being there. Just they're most of the time, and there are exceptions most of the time, these guys are very happy at these shows, seeing their old coworkers. That's what they are. It's like a reunion with old coworkers. But yeah, you get used to seeing some of them, and he was certainly one that was a fixture at the Southern shows. I remember hearing he always did appearances at Walmarts and places like that for charities. Children's Miracle Network, I believe he was involved in. He was a very nice man, and he's another one that I've heard rumored for a certain Legends line that's on its way. So hopefully he'll be involved in that. WWE doesn't seem to have much interest in him for anything. He should be in their Hall of Fame, but we don't need to go into that. We're lucky we got the Classic Superstars figure from him, so for him rather. Nevertheless, here is the bloody Ivan Koloff that we unboxed today, and of course the other two, the Classic and the non-bloody. And prices vary on them. Like I said, they are popular again. Sometimes it shows you can find them, but I've seen them go pretty high in price for what they originally were, and for, like I said, how low they went about 20 years ago. It's a good line to collect. Like I said, they fit right in with the Remcos. They're also pretty well sized to the other figures of the day, your Jakks bone crunching figures and the Toy Biz WCW, although those were all over the place, but they fit right in. They really did. The ECW, I mean, hey, Ivan was an early ECW, so there you go. Tito's in this line. The Sheik, the original Sheik, both Sheiks are in this one, so in this line. So yeah, it's definitely a line worth seeking out. And then you can collect the variants and all that good stuff. And also, I did notice I wasn't. I'd mentioned the mystery set, the build your own set that Figures did with the heads, and it's actually shown right there on the box. And I didn't notice that until I was opening it, because I was more paying attention to everybody they made in the line. That's probably one of the hardest things to find in the line. It was not packaged in anything but, from what I recall, the regular mailer box, and then in a bunch of plastic baggies like this, so there's really no collecting at mint or anything like that. You'd pretty much, the only thing that I think you'd really know was specifically from that maybe the like I said, there were a couple generic heads, but they also did like referees and things like that, and event staff people with these bodies and heads. So it's really hard to say what's complete. Personally, I would say if you get one of each, the bloody and the regular, you're complete. He also did 2-packs, same figures, and they're in little boxes, like a window box with like a ring design on it. Not too many of those. They don't show up too often. Like I said, if you want to be a completist, collect the regular and the variant, and you should be good to go. And there's your Ivans right there. Again, thanks for joining us on another vlog. Hoping to do more. Like I said, the last one, hoping to continue these. I just more frequently just did the one a couple of weeks ago with the Sasaki figures. I'd like to do some non-figure ones next. Did the press kits last year. Maybe we'll even do more of those. It's a good response to those too. And always read the blog, wrestlingmemorabilia.blogspot.com. We're on all the socials, so you know where to find us. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.